Welcome to Epic Begins with One Step Forward. I'm your host, Zander Sprague, and I want to thank you so much for joining me. Today we have a really exciting show. I want to start off with the thought of the day. Be your number one cheerleader. What do I mean by that? Well, if you don't believe in you, how are other people going to believe in you? Let me give you an example. When you go in to buy a car, the salesperson is telling you all of the things that are great about that car. They are not saying, well, the gas mileage is okay and the wheels have been falling off. Of course not. So as we're on our epic journey and we need people to support us, we should be our number one cheerleader. We should be the one who's like, I believe in this so much. And let me tell you, for me to get here to be on TV, I absolutely have had to be my number one cheerleader, to believe that I can make this happen. And I have, and it is so wonderfully epic. Now I've got an epic update for you. I interviewed Marcus Pitman on my podcast, and unbelievable, former NFL football player, also played many years in the Arena Football League, and now Marcus has dedicated his time to being a personal trainer, fitness expert, and he continues to help hundreds of people in Arizona to have the epic life that they're dreaming of, for them to make epic choices, for them to find fitness and health, understand nutrition. We all know that nutrition is something we're like, oh yeah, but it's not always easy to do. But Marcus is helping people and he's making a difference. And it's so great to see Marcus's business expand and him finding the success for his epic journey to be going well. Today, I am so honored to have Dr. Anandika Aggarwal joining me today to talk about dentistry. I know that sounds weird, but we all have to go to the dentist. And when we go to the dentist, we oftentimes have lots of questions about the things that have to happen. So, Dr. Aggarwal, tell us a little about who you are, where you're from, and how you got into dentistry.
So, hi, I'm Anandika Aggarwal. I'm originally from India. So, I was a dentist there, and I basically come from a business family. My dad always wanted to be a doctor, but due to some family issues, he couldn't get into, science. So he had to choose family business over his dreams. But he always wanted somebody of his own to get into this field. And there was never a pressure, but he always used to tell us, oh, it would be nice if, one of my kids could be a doctor or in the medical field or dental field. And then so we don't have undergrad in India. So basically when we are in 10th grade, we have to make a choice as to if you want to go towards science or commerce or, all those fields. And at that moment for me, it was not just his dream, it was my passion to get into medical or science field. So that's basically how I got into dentistry. And for me, I'm more of a hands-on person. And for me, what I feel is dentistry gives you that. Like you're treating patients not just by talking to them or prescribing, medications, but you're actually working on that. And for me, dentistry is a blend of art and science. And I was an artist back when I was in school. So that made it very easy for me to make my career choice and be in dentistry.
So, and that's really cool, and it is certainly hands-on. I mean, as a dentist, your hands are in people's mouths,
Yes.
when you entered dental school, what were some of the big challenges that you found as you were going through school?
It was when you see people in pain, it's kind of fearsome also that a person is in pain and you're responsible for taking away that pain. So I think that's the biggest challenge as to how to overcome your fear in treating other people's fear. So that's something you learn, how to deal with that emotion of a patient. Treatment modalities everybody can learn, right? But it's just how to deal, how to handle people, how to calm them down. That's the biggest challenge, I think. For me, that was the biggest challenge. And I think our education system, especially in United States, they help you with that quite a lot. The experience that they give you, you tend to kind of learn that very smoothly. So that was, I think, the biggest challenge. But if you're asking from transitioning from India to here, I think again, the treatment modalities are all the same. It's the people.
Yeah.
So people are different in India as compared to in United States, and how we treat them is very different. So I am actually very thankful for having to go through 2 years of dental school in United States, in spite of being a dentist back in India, because that made me more accustomed to how people think here and how they want to be treated. So I think that was very good for me.
Right. So what are some of the differences between dental patients in India and their expectations or how they're treated and here in the United States?
I think it's been 10 years, or actually more than 10 years since I have been here. But for that time, we used to treat patients when they would just come for pain.
Got it.
There was no comprehensive examination. And people were not that knowledgeable about different dental options.
Got it.
So whatever you would say is okay, that would be done. But here people are more aware of their options, of different choices that they can make. And you do a comprehensive exam, like you just don't treat them for the pain, you look at the whole thing, because that's what people are expecting here. So I think that was the biggest difference as to how, and Google is a big friend of people here. So, to tell them that Google is always not right, and sometimes, you have to kind of educate them more.
Right.
And tell them the, what the actual thing is. That I think was the biggest difference.
Definitely. And one thing that I think has shifted for many people, it used to be that dentists were, they had the highest suicide rate, the highest levels of depression, in part because the perception of going to the dentist was, as you said, when you're in pain. So every time I go to see the dentist, I associate it with pain, which is negative, and I don't want to go see the dentist. Now, I think, at least my experience has been that there's been a huge shift in treatments and improvements in the way dentistry is done, and it shouldn't hurt.
Yes.
It does sometimes. There's certainly things that are uncomfortable. But I think I've seen in my life, from when I was a kid and going to the dentist, and there was times where it was like, wow, that's unpleasant, to now, and even stuff like the use of some of the numbing agents.
Anesthetics.
I mean, the anesthetics has got much better. It used to be, if you had any kind of a dental procedure, like, half your face was numb for 5 or 6 hours.
Exactly.
And now it's a lot more localized. So can you talk a little about, from your experience, about how that shift has occurred and what it's meant to you as a provider?
So I'll give you a little example. So I used to work in Brentwood, which is more of a senior citizen community. And almost all the patients I saw there, they had dental trauma from the fact that when they were kids, numbing agent was not a thing.
Yeah.
Anesthetic was not a thing. So everyone had dental trauma. So when they came to me, they used to discuss their fears, and I would never treat them on the first visit, because you have to first get that fear out of the patient. And when we started using anesthetic on them, it was a smooth ride for them. They didn't feel anything, and they were blown away by that. So the fact that anesthetics have been using, I think for those kind of people, dentistry became very easy. They were willing to come for their third and fourth appointments, no problem. As far as the needles are concerned, yes, they have become thinner. As you said, we give more localized injections. You don't have to numb the whole patient. And along with that, there are some patients who still have a lot of fear, but we use things like nitrous oxide, which is the laughing gas. That has made life easy for many people. And we do use it for sometimes regular cleanings also, because some patients have a lot of dental trauma or dental fear that they can't surpass even with local anesthetics.
Right.
So that's where the laughing gas comes in, and it's become very easy now, and people are aware about that too. So conscious sedation, oral sedation, laughing gas.
Yeah.
So things have become much easier now for the patients.
Definitely. So I want to transition a little here and talk about cosmetic dentistry, because I think it's more widely accepted. But for me and my audience, explain what's by definition cosmetic dentistry, and what are some of the things that you could do as a cosmetic dentist to help people?
So cosmetic dentistry is basically when you want your teeth to look good. You want to have that smile that you're always dreaming about. So I think with time it has become very approachable. People used to have a big stigma about it, or big fear about it. Oh, if I want to get my teeth nice and nicely shaped and white teeth, they have to shave down all my teeth. It's going to be a lot of pain and all of that. It's not that anymore. There are so many treatment modalities which we can use, where we don't have to shave down the teeth too much. With veneers, we can give you the smile of your dreams. I'll give you a little example. There's a term called fluorosis, where your teeth can be inherently have white patches, or they can be very brown.
Right.
Now, that's not by choice that somebody has it. They are born with it, right? And for the longest, people just lived with it. But now we have things like veneers or bondings, where we can make their teeth look good again. It can be white, it can be nicely shaped. So for me, gaining that confidence back to smile widely for your photographs, that's what's cosmetic dentistry for me. And some people just have, dark colored or yellow teeth. You don't have to even go for veneers. In-office bleaching, in-office whitening, which is a stronger whitening agent that we use. People have left my office very happy with just that also. So
Definitely.
it's for me, cosmetic dentistry is choice, and having to smile widely with confidence again. I feel cosmetic dentistry is that.
Yeah, and I think cosmetic dentistry has come a long way in
Yes.
terms of the acceptability and the treatments.
Yeah, and people used to associate cosmetic dentistry with chiclet teeth before.
Yeah.
But now with a lot of advances in materials and shades and everything, we give very natural looking teeth that you can't even tell that it's not your natural teeth and it's veneers or crowns and stuff like that. So I think with a lot of advances in materials, it's become more easier, and it's become more acceptable for the patients.
Definitely. Now, speaking of cosmetic dentistry, one of the things that I think is a fairly new advancement and when I was a kid, a lot of older people had dentures. Or bridges,
Yes.
or whatever. And I remember as a small kid watching a older friend of my parents had to take our bridge out to eat, and all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, she took her teeth out, right? Now they're dental implants.
Yes.
Can you talk a little about dental implants and the advantages and disadvantages of them? And
So dental implants are basically it's no where you don't have any tooth. That's where a dental implant is placed. There's a misconception about dental implant saying that the whole thing is dental implant. No, dental implant is the part that goes into the bone, and the crown, we give a crown on top of that. That's the clarity I want to tell people. The advantages of dental implants are you're not looking into removing anything. You're not shaving down edges and teeth to make bridges and stuff like that. Since you mentioned dentures, we have implant-supported dentures also now, where the dentures are screwed onto the implants. So as you said, nobody has to take out their dentures no more.
Right.
They can just eat, smile, laugh, cough, sneeze, do anything, and those dentures won't come out. Advantages, again, as I said, no other tooth is getting affected. If you have a full mouth denture, then you don't have to take them out while eating. You don't have to worry about if you sneeze, they'll just fall off in somebody else's lap. So all of that doesn't happen. There is not any disadvantage, to be honest with you. It's considered to be more than 99% compatible with human body. I have seen very less cases where the body rejects an implant.
I get that. And
that can happen with medications when you have allergies to some medications. So, but other than that, to be honest, I cannot think of a disadvantage that I can tell you about the implant.
Okay, and I mean, that's what I thought was, if I think I would take a dental implant where I'm like, put it in, and then I don't have to worry about it.
Yes.
Being a child of the 80s, we saw ads for Polygrip and stuff,
Yes.
and people are like, oh, I can eat corn on the cob now, and before I couldn't because my dentures couldn't take it. And I've got to just imagine that obviously something that is now secured into your bone would obviously, it'd be nice to not have to take them out all the time.
Exactly.
And I assume that once you have your implant, that there's you don't really worry about it that much.
No, I've had patients who've had implants when they actually came into being, and they still have them. So 20 years old, 10 years old. I have had my own patients who haven't come back with any problems, knock on the wood. So, there's absolutely, and I think that's been the biggest advancement in dentistry, where you can actually replace something that's been made by God. So I think that's a very big achievement in the field of dentistry.
And even though I don't know if this counts as cosmetic dentistry, one of the changes I've seen, which I think is a good thing, is you used to have amalgam fillings. And now we go to composite fillings, which have a couple of advantages. One, we don't have silver and mercury and other metals in our mouth, where I think there might be some leaching and stuff like that. But more importantly, when you're talking, you're not flashing the fact that you've got all kinds of dental work in your mouth.
Not just that, I think when you're talking, they're so dark, sometimes it gives an illusion as if you have decay in your mouth, to be honest with you. But I think back in the day, that was probably the best material that they could use. But the long-term effects that we've been seeing is the cracking of the teeth with silver fillings. Silver fillings don't have any give to them. So they are a static body in your tooth, and when that happens is with time, the tooth structure that's left around it, you see it starts cracking. So that we have seen a long-term side effect of silver fillings. Also the staining.
Yeah.
the tooth gets discolored, so the whole tooth starts looking very dark.
Yeah.
So I think, yes, that's been a very positive change with the composite or the tooth colored fillings that we do now. And again, we have so many shades in those fillings that it's not like, oh, you'll get a very white colored filling.
Yeah.
We match it to the tooth that nobody can tell that you've got a filling in your mouth.
And that's obviously the advantage is to have work done, but no
Not
one
knowing,
knows.
yes. Nobody knew that you were just at the dentist appointment
Right.
a few minutes ago and got some work done.
Exactly. And you know, I think over time, eventually, a lot of people do end up getting a cavity or two, and
Yes.
it's nice to not say, oh, look at all the silver in my mouth.
Especially for your front teeth, right? Like when you're smiling, when you're talking, people are always looking at your front teeth. But with those tooth colored fillings, I feel it gives them, again, more confidence to talk and not letting people know that, oh, I got these many cavities done and all of that. So it makes a very huge difference in your mouth, and the feel of it also. It's a more natural feel when you do those composite fillings or tooth colored fillings.
Okay, now I think I know how you're going to answer this one, but it's out there. There are dentists who advertise that you could come in and get dental implants in one day, and you know, sort of the, I'll call it the Jiffy Lube of dentistry, like the fast. What are your feelings about those treatment options?
Well, nobody advertises the fine print, I would say. That's my answer to that. Advertisement is fine, but as long as the discussion is happening as to what it entails, I think that's where things change. They might be advertising, okay, it's a single day, but is it happening when you're actually going into the office? Probably not. Because you leave with a denture, sometimes implants are in the bone, but not necessarily the dentures are screwed onto the implants.
Yeah.
So yes, you are still getting the teeth the same day, but nobody talks that what the process is. So it's always a process. It's never a single day
Yeah,
thing.
you can't go. I can't come in. I couldn't come in to see you, and let's say I had all kinds of decay in my teeth, and I've got to, you know, basically the decision is made. The best thing to do is remove what I
Yes.
have left and put in dental.
Yeah.
It's not like I walk in at 9 in the morning, at 5 in the afternoon, I come out with a beautiful set of Hollywood, you know, veneer, because they've got to go out and make the teeth. It's not like there's some magic machine that just pops out chiclet teeth.
I mean, and more than that, you have to let the bone take on to the implants, right?
Sure.
So that doesn't happen in a daytime. That takes months.
Yeah.
So basically, you can't load those implants with your dentures,
Yeah.
because then they won't have that time to get stabilized in your bone.
Right.
So sometimes what happens is that the implants might be placed the same day. That I am not saying that cannot happen, but the dentures are necessarily not hooked onto the implants. Those are your temporary dentures
Right.
that you kind of live with for another 4 to 6 months, and then the process of making the permanent dentures on the implants is
Right.
done. So yes, as I said before, there are things that need to be discussed. There's some fine print that's not advertised. So that's my take on that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, and I look at it and go, I don't think so, or what I'm getting is probably not my best option for
Long term.
long term.
Yes.
For, like, it can't be a high quality denture if you're somehow making it in one day.
Yes.
I mean, stuff goes out to a lab. It takes time.
Yeah, I mean, they sometimes, some offices, they can have in-house labs, but again, saying that, oh, yes, you can go out, but again, you have to come back for subsequent visits. So it's just not a single visit thing. There are
Yeah.
subsequent visits involved. And again, I am a kind of person who kinds of elaborate and put it all out in front of the patient and let the patient make choices. So I think that's what needs to be done. When you go to a dentist office, you should feel comfortable that you've been gonna be given all your options, and then you pick and choose.
Definitely. Definitely. Now, Just a quick question. This has been an absolutely fascinating discussion. I'm interested to know where is your practice? You said you were in Brentwood, but that implies that you're no longer in Brentwood. Where is your practice?
So I am currently practicing in San Ramon, California. I got this I bought this practice about 1.5 years ago. It's my third baby. I have 2 other little kids. But yes, it's been a joyful ride to be a practice owner. Before that, I was an associate with a DSO, which is a corporate dental office. But now it's just my baby, and I'm loving it.
Well, that's great. That's great. And as we're coming to the end here, what's 1 or 2 things that are, I like, in my book, I talk about not yet. Things that we dream of doing, but we haven't done yet. So what's 1 or 2 of your not yet?
In terms of dentistry or personal?
Personal, dentistry, whatever.
Not done yet. It's I've got a good life. I've done quite some things, but I think, and this is gonna sound very cliche, but I was on a visa for the longest time.
Sure.
Right? So international travel has been a little difficult.
Sure.
So I'm waiting for the kids to grow up a little bit, and Switzerland has been my dream since I was a kid. So that's on my bucket list to go there. And second thing, I think travel is
travel, great.
Travel is on my bucket list right now, because it's been a little challenging for initially the visa thing, and secondly having young kids.
Yep, definitely.
So just waiting for that phase to go by so that I can start traveling more.
Definitely. Well, Dr. Anandika Aggarwal, I want to thank you so much for coming in. Truly an epic discussion about dentistry and cosmetic dentistry. Thank you so much for coming in.
Thank you so much, Zander. Thank you.
No
It was
problem.
a pleasure for me.
I want to remind everyone that your teeth are important. Go see your dentist. It's not bad at all. It doesn't hurt, okay? There's lots of gentle dentists out there. And Dr. Agarwal is a gentle dentist. Remember that epic choices lead to the epic life that you want. If you're ready to begin your epic journey, go to epicbegins.com. There's a host of resources there, and I want to help you begin your epic journey today.